History is littered with the dust of once mighty empires. Often, when a civilization is conquered and its capital is burned, its unique language and monuments eventually fade, and its identity is reduced to a few lines in the history books of the victors. Looking at the geography of the Iranian plateau, logic suggests it should have vanished a dozen times over. Across thousands of years, this region faced a relentless sequence of apocalyptic invasions by the Greeks, the Arabs, the Turks, and the Mongols. Yet the Persian world survived. Instead of being erased, it displayed a unique cultural gravity, slowly pulling its invaders in and seducing them into adopting its own identity. To see how this began, look at the Achaemenid Empire under Cyrus the Great. By 500 BC, the Persians were managing a massive multi-ethnic superpower, not through pure violence, but through a sophisticated administrative system that respected the different faiths and languages of its subjects. This deeply rooted, complex bureaucracy created an irresistible template for power. It became a trap that would ultimately consume anyone who tried to rule over it. In 331 BC, the Macedonian king Alexander the Great led his army deep into Asia, dismantling the Persian military machine. He marched into the magnificent capital of Persepolis and burned its great palaces to the ground. But the conquest quickly flipped. Alexander realized the Persian imperial system was far superior to his own. He adopted Persian customs, began wearing the robes of their kings, and ordered his Greek generals to take Persian brides in a mass wedding ceremony. 1,000 years later, a new force erupted from Arabia. By 651 AD, the Arab-Muslim conquest had shattered the Sasanian military and absorbed the empire. For the next 200 years, the new rulers imposed Arabic as the sole language of public life, an era known as the 2 centuries of silence. Beneath that silence, a cultural insurgency was brewing. In the 10th century, the poet Ferdowsi spent 3 decades writing a 100,000-line epic called the Shahnameh. By composing it almost entirely in pure Persian, he created a linguistic anchor that resurrected the soul of the nation. Meanwhile, Persian bureaucrats systematically penetrated the highest levels of the new Islamic caliphate. They brought their ancient traditions of statecraft into the government, subtly steering the Islamic world into a golden age of science and mathematics. While the physical Persian Empire fell, the invaders' own statecraft and intellect became increasingly Persianized. In the 13th century, a terrifying force swept in from the Central Asian steppes. The Mongols, led by Genghis Khan, were not interested in cultural exchange. Their campaign was one of absolute methodical erasure. When the Mongols breached the city of Nishapur in 1221, they were ordered to slaughter every living creature inside, including cats and dogs. In just 10 days, they constructed massive pyramids of human skulls to ensure no one was left alive. Yet the Persian cultural immune system went to work again. Within generations, the descendants of Genghis Khan converted to Islam, adopted the Persian language, and became the world's most ardent patrons of Persian art and architecture. This synthesis created a Persianate model of statecraft that dominated the ruling classes of South, Central, and West Asia for centuries. The Mughal Empire in India adopted Persian as the language of its administration, while the Ottoman sultans in the West viewed Persian culture as the absolute mark of refinement. Military victory on the Iranian plateau was always an illusion. The true empire was the culture itself, which continuously turned destroyers into disciples. To understand why these rulers were absorbed, look at the Far, a divine glory emanating from a just ruler. This mandate is conditional. Govern with truth, the Far remains. Embrace cruelty. The glory instantly departs, guaranteeing downfall. In the 20th century, we see this ancient formula dictate the fate of Mohammad Reza Pahlavi. Backed by immense oil wealth, he attempted to artificially buy his connection to Cyrus the Great. This culminated in the 1971 Persepolis celebration. The global elite dined on roasted peacock in the desert, while the rural masses remained impoverished. By flaunting his wealth while using a brutal secret police to suppress his people, the Shah embodied the lie. He lost the Far. The breaking point arrived in 1978 with the Cinema Rex fire in Abadan. 400 innocent people were burned alive inside a locked theater. Regardless of who set the fire, the public believed the Shah's secret police orchestrated the massacre. In an instant, hundreds of thousands of previously neutral Iranian citizens concluded that the absolute monarchy had become evil. The 1979 revolution was the ultimate expression of this cultural immune system, a mass movement that proved the Shah's ancient divine mandate had entirely vanished. When Ayatollah Khomeini returned from exile, he established the Islamic Republic by tapping directly into that same ancient psychological bedrock, positioning the supreme leader as a figure endowed by the divine with the right to rule. The story of Iran leaves us with a profound universal truth. True, lasting power does not belong to the conqueror holding the bloody sword. Instead, it belongs to the deeply resilient culture that absorbs the blows, bends to history, and ultimately holds the pen.